Professor Alhaitham's House. Written by Fairy Crest. Read by Arashi. Today is the day, Mestra declared as she glanced at her professor's back. Today is the day I'll confess to Professor Alhaitham. Not today, sister. Lumine, the blonde older twin, who was sitting right behind her, deadpanned as she glanced at the girl's back, shaking her head in pity. She's so obvious, is what Aether, the younger blonde twin, thought, with a sheepish laugh. The bells of the Sumeru Academia rang, and the gray-haired professor immediately separated the chalk in his hand from the board. That's it for today, class. If there are any questions regarding the lesson, feel free to discuss with me in the next session. Good day. The man did not rush his speech, but from the way his hand swiftly grabbed all his things from the teacher's desk and neatly put it all in his bag, you could already tell how eager he is to leave the room, more eager than the students themselves. This has always sparked curiosity amongst students, and knowing curious students, they always find a way to sate their curiosity, thus spreading different sets of rumors around the gray-haired professor. Lumine, Aether, let's pick Paimon up at her school, and I'll drop you both at your house, okay? The always aloof professor, who has no qualms about speaking whatever he wants, wherever he wants, spoke loudly, regardless of the students still inside the room, raising some brow, and Mestra looking back to glare at the two. Ugh! Lumine grimaced at the glare she received. One of the rumors surrounding the man is that he's dating the older blonde, to which, if you ask her, she'd definitely barf. Not to mention, she'll definitely smirk in your face and say she prefers girls. Lumine took one good look at Aether before letting out a big grin. Aether groaned inwardly, remembering his sister's words from when they were eating the breakfast he made for them. Today is the day, Lumine declared, taking a big bite of her hash browns. Today is the day I'll crush Mestra's feelings for Alhaitham. Mestra liking their professor is something everyone knows. Well, probably aside from the man himself, but that's the fun part. There are many, many reasons for Lumine to destroy the girl's feelings for the man. One of them, her constant glares to the blonde, that's getting real tiring over time. Professor Alhaitham? Lumine grinned as she pointed a finger to the girl in front of her. Would it be all right if Mestra tags along with us? We're opting for a group project that we're planning to do at home. Alhaitham glanced at the girl before nodding. Okay, let's go now. The emphasis on the word now made the twins sigh. He really wants to go home, huh? Oh my God, Professor! Your car is so cool! Did you choose the seating design yourself? I like this color combination a lot. You have a great color combination, Professor. Is that so? The ride to pick up their younger sibling was way annoying for Lumine, who dragged Mestra forcefully with them to the professor's car. The girl was talking and babbling specifically at random stuff that the professor would reply with a or an is that so, in his most disinterested voice. Thank you for picking Paimon up again. The youngest sibling cheered as the car parked in front of her school gate, where she was waiting. Did you have fun at school today, Paimon? Aether cheerfully asked, upon seeing his sister looking at Mestra, whose eyes were focused on the indifferent teacher. One look, and the elementary school student immediately understood the situation, and Aether's distraction was something she bit because she just wants to talk to her brother. So, the way to the twins' house clicked from Mestra's pining to Paimon's blabbering about her school activities. The back seat of the professor's car was now filled with Paimon's voice, as Aether, who sat the kid on his lap, responded to her, Mestra in the middle, still talking to the professor, and Lumine beside her, looking at the window. Upon arriving at the first house, which was the twins', Alhaitham didn't unlock the door upon closer inspection. "It looks like Dainsleif isn't here yet." The professor inclined, to which Lumine replied by waving her phone in the air. "He said he'll be late, and asked if it's okay to stay at your place till he comes to pick us up." "All right. Message Kaveh about this so he can make more dinner." Lumine replied with a nod, and started typing away on her phone. "Oh my gosh! Is this your house, Professor?" Mestra excitedly squealed in delight as she glanced around the cozy building.
"We're barging in!"
The other three, though, immediately went to find the couch, and just to lay dead there for the rest of the night. Mestra followed suit, finding the twins immediately, and sat down with them. As she was about to call out to Alhaitham once again, who just entered the room, Alhaitham walked into the kitchen. He seemed to be looking for something. "They, I'm home," he calls out. "Who's they? His cat?" thought Mestra, who by now would have wished that whoever they was a cat indeed, as the door to one of the rooms opened. "Guys, you're back already?" A beautiful blonde walked into the room. He would have been mistaken for a woman, if not for the masculinity in his voice. He made a beeline to the kids, patting their head, before turning to the professor. And the next scene was like a shattered glass loop for Mestra. Alhaitham grabbed the blonde man and wrapped his arms around his waist as the man peppered her professor's lips in kisses. "I just got back myself. I was going to cook, but you guys already arrived." The seemingly cheerful blonde's carmine eyes, who was now filtered as a monster in Mestra's eyes, met hers. "My, who's this?"
"This is Mestra. She's here to do a project with me,"
Lumine replied with a knowing grin. "My, how dedicated you are!" Kaveh started, his fingers pinching his lover's hand that was snaking his waist. Knowing that another person is here, Kaveh finds it uncomfortable to be open with showing affection, and Alhaitham knows that, which is why he's quietly dragging his lover away to the kitchen, where he can cuddle all he wants. "What's the project about?"
"An essay."
Aether could only smile sheepishly at how his sister can lie as she breathes.
"About getting your heart broken when you found out the person you like has a lover."
Kaveh's face scrunched up sadly. "Lumine, that's a very sad topic." Lumine smiled as she pat Mestra's back.
"Isn't it? You see, our dear Mestra here is experiencing the very same thing. The person she likes is quite in love with another person. Mind you, very, very in love. And so, it would help a lot in our essay."
"Oh, that is so sweet of you, Miss Mestra. You know what? Stay over for dinner with us. I'll give you a heartbreak heart-heal meal." And with that, the blonde excitedly ran through the kitchen, with Alhaitham eagerly following behind like a puppy.
"What were you thinking?"
Mestra whisper yelled to Lumine, who was looking at her with a smirk.
"With what?"
The blonde female started snickering as she started eyeing the woman, going red in anger. As she was about to yell crap at her classmate, the professor she liked walked out of the kitchen with a dejected look.
"Kaveh kicked you out?"
Aether, who was sitting close to him, giggled as the man nodded. The man then left for a shower and a change of clothes, while Mestra was still glaring at Lumine, countering her glare with a savage grin.
"So, about that essay."
At the corner, she saw Alhaitham walking down with his now comfortable house clothes on, one that looks oddly matching with the blonde who's still in the kitchen.
"Professor, Mestra wants to know your love life with my older brother, by the way."
The change in the professor's face was barely visible. However, judging from how flowery his atmosphere became, as if he's shooting for an advertisement of a fabric conditioner, Lumine deduced that Alhaitham is purely elated. "Kaveh was my senior at school, and I kept chasing after him. And now we're married. It's surprising how no one still called the police with how you explained your love life, Professor." Aether slid in a sly remark as he suspiciously eyed the man.
"I mean, He took Dainsleif's beating just so he could marry Kaveh, so I'm guessing, yeah,
Paimon added, continuing to munch on the cookies on the coffee table.
So, you and Sir Kaveh are married?
Mestra asked in complete surprise. Why, yes, we have been for nearly 8 years now. And this time, Alhaitham's lips pushed to a small smile.
Is that so?
I'm done with dinner, everyone! Kaveh barged out from the kitchen with a frilly pink apron, one he usually bragged to his siblings about this inspired from his favorite movie, Cuties and Daddies, it's time to eat! The older blonde beamed as he prepped the table for all to dine on. Mestra didn't know how she got home, but she did. She didn't know how she got to school the next day, but she did.
So?
Her eyes landed on her friend, who knows about her declaration of love to the silver-haired professor.
How did he reject you?
Her friend, who seemed to know the rejection before it even began, asked. As much as Mestra wants to throw her by the window out of anger, she sucked her breath, grit her teeth, and sighed.
He took me to his house and introduced me to his wife.
He what? Surprisingly, everyone in the room was actually listening to them.
Ugh, he's married to Lumine and Aether's older sibling. Has been for 8 fucking years.
As she declared that, the room fell into a quiet lake, as it didn't even budge when the said blonde twins walked in. And finally, her friend decided to break the silence.
I knew a good catch like him is in no way single. Everyone must be bowing at his feet.
Mestra and Lumine looked at the girl, and Mestra recalled how her stone-like professor turned into a lost puppy when at home. Ugh, bitch, you have no idea.